morning, guys. It's Jasmine. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I will be talking to you about how to improve and build your credit in 30 days. So as you all know, that I did go from a 530 to a 740 in about 5 to 6 months, and I'm going to tell you exactly which steps I took in order to get to this point. So first things first, how to establish credit. So the first thing that I did was I did get a secured credit card. That is a credit card that you basically use your own money. So you put up a certain amount of money and then you use it. They put it on the credit card for you and you use it throughout the month. So I believe when I got my credit card, I started out with $500. I'm not quite sure depending on which bank you go to. I guess it depends on how much you have to start out with. So I started out with $500. I got the secured credit card. At this time, I was about 18. As you all know, right now I'm 23. So at this time, I was about 18 and I wasn't responsible. So what ended up happening is I ended up using the card. In my mind, I'm like, okay, this is my money. So I ended up using the card and I let the card close. Meaning that I did not pay the $500 back. I did not pay it. I went ahead and just let the card close. So first things first, if you ever get a secured credit card, do not do that. I'm going to let you know that now. Do not do that. Yeah, just don't do that. So another thing you can do is apply for a department store card. Something like Home Depot, who else has them? Things like Kohl's, Victoria's Secret has them. Now I do recommend that you get a card where you normally don't shop at that place a lot. Like for instance, me, I love Victoria's Secret slides, so I wouldn't get a credit card from Victoria's Secret because I'm more likely to use it often, and you kind of don't want to do that. I mean, it's really up to you if you're responsible enough, but I know how I am, and right now I'm still learning, so I wouldn't recommend if you get a card from somewhere where you always shop. The last thing that you can do is become an authorized user on another card. So I was blessed enough and lucky enough to have a mom that has great credit. My mom is, she has always had great credit. She's always been high and on the good side of credit. So she allowed me to become a authorized user on her card. I don't believe it has to be a parent or a family member. I'm not quite sure. But basically what occurs is they placed me on her credit card, and whenever she uses her credit card, she pays it back. It goes to both of our accounts. Now, of course, it helps her out more because she's the head or the card holder. But since I am an authorized user, it does help me or allow me to build my credit as well. Now, if you do ask someone and they're like, no, I don't want you to have a credit card in my name, you can always they can always get the credit card and keep it themselves, so you won't have to use the credit card, or they can basically, I mean, that's really it. That's normally what I did, or my mom allowed me to get the credit card, and just to learn responsibility, which y'all, I'm still learning, like I said before. But yeah, authorized user is perfect. I believe you have to be just a teenager, or 14, maybe 13 or 14. So if you are older, if you're like in your 30s or 40s and you have a child that's 13 or 14, I would recommend that you go ahead and make them an authorized user now, so when they get older, when they get 18 or 19, they have established credit or great credit. So that was for the newcomers. If you know that, I believe the credit score ranges anywhere from 300 to 900. I could be wrong. I have no clue. But I believe that's what it is. It ranges from 300 to 900. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to improve credit. I did get someone to help me with my credit. Her name is Miss Tamika. I will have her information down below, her Facebook. Basically what I did was I reached out to her, told her that, hey, I'm stuck on this 530, I need help. So basically what she did was she did these steps that I'm going to tell you guys. She basically got my information, wrote the letters for me, and got all that stuff together. So the first thing that she told me to do was stop applying for anything. Whether it's loans, whether it's a house, whether it's a credit card, or whether it's a car. Do not apply for anything when you're attempting to improve your credit. The one way that I got into the 530s is because I wanted to get a new car, and I had to go through the car dealership. So what they did was they got my information and they ran my information through about 10 banks. They ran it through about 10 banks, causing my credit score to go from like a 600 to a 530. So I do recommend that if you have to apply for a loan, or apply for a house, or apply for a car, I would recommend that you only go through like your bank. Like, say if you have a bank that you've been with for a while, try to go through them. So when you go to the credit card, when you go to the dealership, you already have someone that has approved you for a certain amount, rather than having to run your credit through 10 and 15 different places. So the next thing that I would recommend is that you check your credit report and you dispute anything that any errors that you may have. Such as, like, okay, I go through Credit Karma. So whenever you pull up my Credit Karma, it basically shows you everything that's on my credit report. So say as though, I know this has happened to a lot of my friends. When they were younger, their parents, or maybe their aunties, or what have you, whoever was taking care of them at the time, decided to use their name and their social to place like electric bills or cable bills in their names. So one thing you have to do is dispute that, because one, you were not old enough to have that, and two, that is not your bill. So what you would have to do is first dispute it, and then also make the company prove that you owe them. Meaning, make them show you a bill that you owe them. Because sometimes they'll tell you that you owe them and you really don't, or it was already cleared out. So I do recommend that. The next thing you should do in order to improve your credit is pay down on your loans or your credit cards, and also do not get late fees. Pay those off first. So one thing that my mom told me to do when I was attempting to build credit is, I had really petty medical bills that was on my credit, and some people don't know that medical bills do hinder you, which I understand. Some people are sick, or some people can't pay for them, but as of me, I had like little petty $20 bills, $50 bills. So the first thing that my mom told me to do was actually pay those lower bills off first, so they can get removed first. Now, before you pay off any of those bills, make sure that the company, or the company that you're paying, will remove it in full, rather than saying, okay, you've paid it out, because even though you paid it out, it'll still hinder your credit. So make sure that they send you a letter basically letting you know that, yes, once you pay this, we will remove it fully from your credit. So another thing that I've seen is a lot of people, when they have bad credit, they try to open more credit cards to build that credit. I would say don't do that. The more credit cards that you have, the more you're going to hinder your score. So try to keep down the credit scores that the credit cards rather that you have. I have about 2 credit cards. I do have a authorized user credit card with my mom, and then I also have my own credit card with my bank, my personal credit card. So another thing is, if you already have multiple credit cards, do not close them. Whenever you close a credit card, that does hinder your credit score. I have no clue why. I'm not sure if maybe they think that you're not responsible enough, but yeah, don't do that. So that's basically how we would improve our credit. Now, the last thing that I'm going to speak about or talk about is tips on, once we build our credit, we're up into the 700s, 800s, even 640s, what have you, as long as you're improving your credit. Now, this is how you keep your credit in a good standing, or keep fair or good credit. So one thing I would recommend is use your credit card responsibly. Now, I am a responsible person, but as far as credit cards, I am not. You have to learn the type of person that you are. I am the type of person that, yes, I use my credit card and I always make sure that I use it. However, I am kind of lazy. Sometimes I don't want to go to the bank to pay my credit card. So one minute I will pay, like I will buy something and it's $50, and then the next minute my bill comes out and it's like, oh, you owe $500. And I'm like, how in the hell? But it's because I'm not a responsible credit card user. Second tip that I have for you guys is just make sure that you pay your credit card on time. Normally, you get the credit card bill once a month. Say like if I have a credit card that has $1,000 limit and I get my bill. My bill may be, the minimum that I have to pay is $10. Just because it's a minimum, that doesn't mean that you can't pay more. So I do recommend that if you have a credit card, that you pay more than the minimum. Do not pay the credit card completely off, like leave maybe about $20 or $30 on the credit card, or even $10. But make sure that you don't pay it completely off, and make sure that you pay your credit card on time. Another tip is, of course, become an authorized user. We already spoke about that. So if you do have somebody that's responsible, make sure that the person that you choose or ask to you become an authorized user with them, make sure that they have good standing credit. Make sure that their credit has their credit history is a bit long, maybe about 3 to 5 years. Make sure that they actually make their payments on time as well, because when you become an authorized user, if they do not make their payments, it'll also hinder you. So another tip that I have is only use your card for gas or things like that. So I had got into the habit of using it anytime I went out. Now the person that I was working with that helped me with my credit, she did tell me to use it as often as possible, which I attempted to do that, but like I said before, I wasn't going back and paying it off, and that always put me in debt. So what I did, I just went ahead and got both credit cards. I placed my phone bill on one card, so it automatically comes out once a month, my phone bill, and then on my second card I placed my Netflix bill and my Hulu bill on the other card. So once a month my card is always being used, and then I only have a certain amount of pay. Like, okay, my phone bill is $60, so only once a month $60 coming out that credit card. Netflix and Hulu may be about $20 to $25 a month, so that's the only thing that's coming off of that card, and that helps you stay out of debt as well. Another thing that I have a tip of is try to use at least 7 to 10% of the amount that you have. So I would recommend that you only use $77 to maybe $110 dollars on that credit card. That keeps you in the 7 to 10% bracket, and that also helps you build your credit pretty quickly. And if you do use your credit card daily, if you are responsible and you can use your credit card daily, I do recommend that you wait about 4 to 5 days so the actual transaction can hit the credit card, and then you go back and pay. So basically it's like, if I use my gas, if I use my card for gas on Monday, I will wait until about Friday or Saturday to go and pay the card off, or pay the card down rather, just so the history could pull up, or the transaction can pull up on the history. Another tip that I have is try not to create new debt, meaning try not to apply for loans if you don't have to. Try not to apply for any credit cards if you don't have to. The less debt that you have, the higher your credit score will be. So I was blessed and lucky enough to purchase my last car that I have now. I was able to purchase it outright with cash. So that is one less debt, or one less bill that I have on my credit card. And the last thing is, be patient. Sometimes it may take you 2 months to get your credit score to 700. Sometimes it may take someone else 4 months. Just be patient. Do your research, and like I said before, if you want to use the person that I used, her name is Tamika. I will have her Facebook information down below. This is my first video like this. I hope you guys like this. I want us all to be winning for 2019. Let's get this credit score up. I love you guys. Make sure you add me on Instagram at _Im Jazmin. Make sure you subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to comment below, and I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching my video. See you next time.